Alright guys, welcome back, and so far up to this point what we did is we pretty much took care of thread number 1. So already what we have going on in the background whenever we start this program is we have a thread that's going to be listening for new computers to connect. Now as that's happening, what we're going to do is we need a way to say, okay, keep doing that thing in the background, but I want to be able to review all the computers that are connected and choose a specific one and then say, okay, I select that one. That's the one that I'm gonna, give commands. And then whenever we're done with it, we're gonna back out and then maybe choose another one. So sounds pretty confusing, right? Well, it's not. I'm gonna show you guys probably the coolest and easiest way to do this. So what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be creating an interactive prompt for pretty much writing our own custom commands. So whenever you open up a terminal or a command line window, whatever you want to call it, you pretty much can type commands sending directly to your operating system. Well, if you ever use a program like Metasploit or MySQL from the command line, you know that sometimes you can type in like Metasploit and it pretty much gives you its own custom interactive shell or interactive prompt just specific to Metasploit. And you're like, how did they do this? How did they make a command line within a command line? And I'll show you guys that right now. So interactive prompt for remotely. All right. Now, I just didn't want to name this like prompt or whatever. So I just named this turtle. And I named it this because it was the only animal I could think of with a shell. I mean, I could think of other ones, of course, hermit crab, whatever, but, this was the first one that popped in my mind. So remember, this is in thread 2. So we want to keep this running the entire time as well. So you can either write while 1 or while true, whatever. And now, in order to have your own custom command prompt, what you do is this. You take a variable and you set it equal to input. Now, if you want to add a custom little prompt, then what you can do is this. Turtle with some kind of / or whatever. So just in like the command line, let me show you. Whenever you open up a command line, what it does is it shows you a path to your working directory wherever you are. And of course you can change that, whatever. Well, whenever we run this program, it's just going to say turtle. So it's not going to say C user, it's just going to say turtle. And that's how we know that the commands that we type in, they're not going to be handled by our operating system. They're going to be handled however we tell it to. So now this CMD is equal to a custom command. So how do we handle that? Well, with a simple if statement. So if we'll say if they typed in list, what do we want to do? And all this little mini program is going to do is it's going to list all the connections, and then we'll add another custom command that allows us to select one of them. So if list, then we're going to make a function later on to just list all the connections, all of the computers that are connected. And then we're going to write continue, or we can actually just write an else if. So if you guys don't know, whenever you have a loop, what you can do is you can add the keyword continue, and what that allows you to do is pretty much not break out of the loop, so this keeps looping, but it just goes back up to the top. So break, that keyword just stops the loop completely. Continue says actually just hop right back to the top and continue with the next iteration. So this will be fine, but we can actually just add an else if. So else or elif, forgot Python language. Select in command. All right. So why do I write select in command instead of just select? Because, let me bring up this again. Because what we're going to do is whenever we list all the connections, it's going to have their IP address and then just an ID number like 0, 1, 2, 3, whatever. So whenever we select a connection, we're just going to write select 3 or select 2 or select 65 if, maybe a bunch of computers are connected. So the command isn't just select itself, so we just can't test if it's directly equal to a word like that. However, we're going to say if the word select is in the command, that must mean they're trying to select one of the clients. So what I want to do is this. So connection equals get target, and I'll just say command. All right. So later on as well, we have to actually build these functions to list all the connections and to actually get the connection object. So we're going to be doing that in probably the next tutorial, and so that's why I'm not going to explain that right now. It pretty much, you pass it in this command and it's going to extract the ID number and get the connection from that. It's actually really easy, but that's what we're going to be doing. And now I just want to say none. So whenever we get a connection back that we chose, we just want to test to make sure it's not equal to none, because maybe from the time you started this till the time, you know, right after you listed everything, they disconnected. Or maybe it's just this old connection that got, I don't know, it's still stored in your list for some reason. Well, it's always a good idea to make sure your connection is not equal to none. And then we're just going to say commands. All right. So at this point, we have a connection, and we saw this in the last tutorial. We can start sending them commands. Simple enough. Now else, I'm just going to add one more line of code here, and we're going to say else if they type something in to our little mini program and it wasn't the word list and they didn't select anything, maybe they just typed a typo, then I'm just going to print out something like command not recognized. So I just like to have a little indicator there because, you know, if they start typing in list and they accidentally write fist, then, you know, they're not like, oh, why isn't this working? Well, because you typed fist, you moron. So I should probably write that as my little indicator, but I'll be nice about it. All right. So now that we have our interactive prompt pretty much up and running, what's going to happen is we need to code these functions right here. So to list all of your current connections, once you select one, to actually get that connection object, and of course this right here to actually control that computer remotely. It's going to be awesome. I'll see you guys next time.